use. Now every day, every night, every moment with you, I'm walking on air. And every day, every way, I feel I can't lose. I wanna shout it out, ain't no limit. I wanna shout it out to the world. You got me all worked up, got me spinning. I'm crazy for love, crazy for love, crazy for crazy for love. Crazy for love. Whenever lost, whenever down, you know what to do, to do. There's no mountain I won't climb, be right by your side, right by your side. Now every day, every night, every moment with you, I'm walking on air. And every day, every way, I feel I can't lose. I wanna shout it out, ain't no limit. I wanna shout it out to the world. You got me all worked up, got me spinning. I'm crazy for love, crazy for love, crazy for crazy for love. Crazy for love. I found a miracle, I found the dream. Living is beautiful with you and me. I found a miracle, I found the dream. Living is beautiful with you and me. I wanna shout it out, ain't no limit. I wanna shout it out to the world. You got me all worked up, got me spinning. I'm crazy for love, crazy for love, crazy for. You know I'm crazy for, crazy for love, crazy for. You know I'm crazy for, crazy for love. I've been waiting all my life for something. I've been down the darkest roads and up in the clouds, but I've always felt that something's missing. That was until I found you right there in the crowd. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good. I've been waiting for the one forever. Finally I got you, baby, here in my heart. When I'm with you I feel so much better, oh yeah. Before you I was just a shell, so stuck in the dark. You came into my life and started a fire. You made me feel like I could touch the sky. Oh, there's nothing missing now that you're my desire. Now all I have to do is to make you mine. 'Cause I know, and you know what we could be. Like a song, like a perfect melody. Baby, don't say you don't believe in me. 'Cause you know, and I know, we're onto something good. You know, and I know, we got something good.
Yeah, welcome to another live stream. We're about to kick off, although actually we kick off on the hour, but I always jump on a bit early to do a few shout outs. So if you're here early, thank you. And let me know in the comments below, where are you from? And I'll do as many shout outs as possible. Also, what's your experience with business advisory and AI? Have you been using AI for business advisory? Let me know. I'd be really interested. I'm doing this topic because just last month in the AI community, I ran a poll to say, what would you like me to teach next? And I gave a whole bunch of different ideas of how we could use AI, whether it's for marketing purposes, pricing, and so on. And by far the overwhelming vote was, how can we use AI for business advisory? So that's what we're going to look at today. Let's see who's here then. So far, we have, first of all, I think it's Anne Harper. Of course, it's Anne Harper. Yes, hi there, Anne. Great to see you. I know you're from my AI community, from Canada. Awesome. Who else is here? I don't know where GM is, other than Greater Manchester in the UK. But I know you say, is this live? Yeah, I think it's live. I'm fairly sure it's live. I feel like I'm live. So we have as well. And let me know if you've not been to one of my live streams before. Just put new in the comments, and I'll give you a particular. I'll make sure I give a shout out. So who else? Where do we get to? Shane's here from Atlanta in Georgia, and great to see you here. I did go to Atlanta back in 2019. What a cool place. Went to the Coca-Cola Museum, and you've got a really big aquarium there in Atlanta. We have Lynn's here from Canada. Hi there, Lynn. Great to see you. I know you're one of my regulars that always shows up. Who else have we got here? So Shane says, Shane, I hope I pronounced that right. Is it Shane or Chain? I'm going to go with Shane, but tell me if I got that wrong. So using AI with budgeting would be valuable. Okay, I don't know if we'll cover that or not. We'll see. I'll see where it goes. But I will answer questions at the end. If you've just joined, we're starting in just under 2 minutes. I have here, Jonathan's here from South Africa. Welcome to you, Jonathan. We also have my good friend John is here from Hertfordshire. So he says, AI is helping to get much better content and ideas to discuss with clients. And John's a regular follower of me and part of the AI Academy, doing amazing things. Okay, cash flow forecasting as well. I'm not sure we'll cover that today, but we'll see. We've got a few new people who've never been before to my live stream. So welcome to you, Jonathan from South Africa. Also, big welcome to Angela Samuels. Great to see you, and you're from Michigan. And then another good friend, Jim, is here from Exeter, where it always seems to be wet, down in Devon in the UK. Oh dear, sorry about that, Jim. We have Sharma is here from Phoenix in Arizona. We're just about to start in just under a minute. We have Jessica Fox is here from North Georgia in USA. Hope life is good for you, Jess. We have Linda is here from Paris in South Africa, not the one in France. We also have from Basildon in the UK, Mohammed's here from Basildon. Hi there, great to see you. Oh, of course, GM is good morning. Sorry about that, it's just because I said, where are you from? And I was thinking, where's that as a location? Because I know in the US, people give me the states like AZ, and sometimes that tests me, but I know that's Arizona. There's a few I'm not quite so sure on. Okay. And so I'm guessing that you're not from the UK because it's in the afternoon now. And for me, I'm in Portugal, where it is now 4 o'clock. In fact, it is 4 o'clock. So let's get started. Let's stop the gibbering. Let's get into the content for today, which is all about strategic planning and business advisory using AI. So before we dive into that, just a few quick announcements that we always have at the start of these sessions. Firstly, a couple of links coming your way. If you've got, I've lost mine. If you've got your smartphone, you might want to grab that for a couple of QR codes that are about to come on the screen. Firstly, if you are new to these sessions, we are a supporter of B1G1 to help make the world a better place. And what we do is every time you come to one of our live sessions, as a thank you, we make a contribution to a project somewhere around the world. And the way it works like this is this. You just hold up your QR code, your camera to the QR code on the screen, or you can wait for Sarah to post a link into the chat, whichever you prefer. And if you just click on that, and please do, it'll take you to a page that you can kind of like the one on the right that shows 4 projects. And all you have to do is click on one of the 4 orange buttons, whichever those projects resonates the most with you. And when you do that, there's no sign in. All that happens is when you click on an orange button, money comes out of our bank account to that project. So please do that. It's our way of making a difference in the world, and you get to choose the project that we will support as a thank you for being here. And I can see that Sarah has now put the link. If you prefer the link, it's in the chat. I don't know which social site you're on, but it's definitely on YouTube already. Next thing very quickly, again, if you are new to these sessions, if you would like to get on our VIP list and get an email on our Monday newsletter that tells you about all the live training that we've got coming up, all the free training that we've got, and also we ask our question of the week around pricing or marketing, based on the most common questions we get from accounting firm owners, and I also share my prompt of the week. So either hold up your phone to the QR code, or Sarah will put it in the chat in a bit. I'll look out for that. In fact, while I'm looking out for that, a couple more shout outs very quickly. We have Michael is here from Sacramento, beautiful place, lovely train museum. Sarah and I loved that when we went there. Randall's here. Hi there, Randall. Randall is our #1 person in the AI Academy. And we have we have someone. Oh, of course, it's Michaela. It's Michaela, our New Zealander from in London, still working on AI. We have Nina is here. Randall's still eating his breakfast. Definitely not in Portugal. He's over in the US somewhere. Right. We have as well, just on LinkedIn. I can't get the comments from LinkedIn, but Sarah's helping me out. So hi there, Debbie, on LinkedIn. Hi there, Kim, on LinkedIn. Hi there, Lundy from Virginia. And there's the link if you don't want the QR code. Right. Okay. And the only other thing is, please do ask questions during this session. We've got a Q&A towards the end. So if you've got any questions about AI business advisory, all I ask is put QQ into the chat. Two big Qs before the question, just because sometimes it goes a bit crazy and I miss the chat. At this point, sometime soon, Sarah might post a question in the right format. While I'm waiting for that, just a couple more people that I know very well is Jimmy from my academy. Hi there, Jimmy. Great to see you from Texas. And also Shabir is here from Canada, who asked a question. If I get a chance, Shabir, you asked about coming up with a strategic plan off the back of a mind map. I've actually did some work for you about half an hour ago, and I've got I might show it later if I get some chance, a little prompt I've created to come up with a strategic plan. Okay, so if you've got a question, just put 2 capital Qs in front, just as Sarah said there, just because it'll then jump out at me. So questions we'll deal with at the end, but please do ask questions. I'm here to help you as best I can. We have, if you're brand new, we have a hard finish on the hour. I'm in Portugal, so 5 o'clock, that's 5 o'clock UK time, we finish. So I will answer as many questions as I can, and I answer in the order they come in. If there's too many questions, I may not finish them. So please do ask questions. As soon as it pops into your head, put it into the comments and in that format, and I'll do my best to answer. Thank you, Shabir. And my good friend from Canada, Leslie, is also here. She's on LinkedIn right now. Okay. What's new with ChatGPT? I always just start off these sessions just with a quick update if anything's new. And there's 2 new things since we last did a live stream that are not overwhelming, because probably a good thing, because over the course of July, August, September, OpenAI were just releasing new thing after new thing after new thing with agent mode in July. They launched GPT-5 at the start of August, and then almost at the same time their amazing GPT-OS, their open source model. And then a whole string of stuff has come out over the last couple of months, but every day I go and check out what is new on their site, and just a couple of things that you may or may not be aware of that happened last week. They're just small things, but they might be useful. So one of the things that you can do is you can set your custom instructions, and which is a powerful feature. And custom instructions, it always said that they would come into effect with all new prompts going forward, but not your new chats. But now what they've done is, if you set custom instructions and personality, which is relatively new, then if you go back to an old chat and carry on, it will take into account your custom instructions. So that might be useful, particularly if you have a habit of going back to old chats and continuing the conversation. The other one, which I think might be a little bit more useful, is if you are doing things like deep research, then, as you probably know if you've used it, deep research, it's really powerful, and because it goes deep with the research, it can take 5 minutes to 30 minutes to come up with the answer. And sometimes I would find that I'd set it off going and thought, I wish I'd told it this, I wish I did this. Well, now you have a little update button on there, which means that you can interrupt it as it's doing its deep research. You can update it, and it will take that into account. So if you're a fan of deep research like I am, I think you will find that useful. Okay, let's get started. I will say a quick shout out. Hi there, Neil. Good to see you. And Fabio is here as well. Right. So, AI-powered strategic business advisory. What are we going to talk about in this session today? We're going to look at what I believe is, I think it's the most powerful use case of ChatGPT and other large language models. I think it's really powerful for strategic planning, and we can look upon this as from two different perspectives. Firstly, if you're an accountant in practice doing advisory work, then this is really powerful for adding value to clients, for doing business advisory. I love it for business advisory. But also, if you're a business owner, you should be doing this yourself. If you're the owner of an accounting firm, then you are your number one client. And so you should be doing strategic planning in your own business. So everything that we're going to talk about, you could think about with two different hats on. One as an advisor, advising business owners, and one as being a business owner yourself, wanting to build a more powerful strategy. So we're going to talk in this about a bit of an overview as to why is advisory a big opportunity, what does it really mean, and then we're going to dive into how we can use AI for advisory, and we'll look at some practical prompts. We'll go into ChatGPT, and I will try and do 2 or 3, perhaps 4 different prompts examples as we run through this session. Now, I know some people are listening on the podcast, and hopefully you'll take loads away, but there'll be some visual stuff later. So if you're on the podcast, you might want to hop across to my YouTube channel later and catch the visuals. But let's start with just a quick definition of business advisory. To me, business advisory is all about how do we help business owners, our clients, build more successful businesses. How do we help them increase their profits, grow their business, increase cash flow, etc. And when I'm thinking about advisory, and when I think about how I was doing it in my accounting firm many years ago, when I was a sole practitioner, when I did advisory work, I really think of it as being six core things that we could do as part of a well-rounded advisory solution. So to me, they would be goal setting, because how can we help a client be more successful if we don't know what success means to that business? So if I was doing advisory work with a client, I would always start off with the first session being all about what are their goals, what are they trying to achieve? So that's goal setting. And then I would be helping them with strategy. And strategy is simply all the possible things they could do to get from where they are today to where they want to be towards their goals. Advisory may also consist of an element of forecasting, looking into the future, looking at projections of profits, sales, cash flow, etc. Then there'll be an element of reporting, which is the comfort zone stuff for most accounting firms. It would be producing, for example, monthly management information, monthly profit and loss account, monthly balance sheet, and then talking about the trends of how the business is going. And then the ongoing advice is having a regular meeting. And this is the bit that is where the real value lies. It's in the relationship that you have as an advisor with your client. It's giving the advice. It's having a monthly meeting to interpret the numbers in the report, to see if they're on track to achieve their strategic plans. And then finally, there should be an element of accountability where you hold the client accountable to do the things that they say they have agreed they're going to do between the last session and the next session. So just like a coach helps people be accountable to do their homework, to do the things they say they need to do to get to their goals, we would do a similar thing. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do all those 6 with every single client. It all depends, and I talk a lot about pricing and having different packages. And it may be if you're creating, let's say, a bronze, silver, gold of different levels of advisory packages, those bronze, silver, gold might have a different mix of these elements. It might be the entry level is simply a strategic planning day where you do some goal setting and some strategic planning. It may be that then the next level is the ongoing advice and the reporting and the accountability. And then for our premium clients, the larger clients, it may be we do more forecasting and what-if analysis and budget setting and those sorts of activities. So that would be what I see as being the main elements of advisory. But what we're going to talk about is, well, how can we use large language models to help us with advisory? And particularly, how do we use it to help with delivering the service, doing the strategic planning, giving the advice? And I talk about large language models. I'm focusing today on ChatGPT, as I normally do, simply because, firstly, most people use ChatGPT, and secondly, because in all the benchmarks, it regularly comes out as number 1. But if you're not a ChatGPT fan, if you prefer Claude or Gemini or something else, Grok, for example, everything I'm going to show you today would apply just as well to any of the different large language models. So what are the sorts of things that we might do if we are doing advisory work with a client? What different activities could we do using a large language model? Well, firstly, we could use it for research. We could use it to research the client. We could research the industry so that we can speed up our homework process so that we have some preparation before we start that first initial session with the client. We want to make sure that we understand their business and understand their industry. And we could spend hours doing research, but with ChatGPT, we could cut that down into just a few minutes. And we'll look at a prompt for doing that in a second. We could, of course, also use it as part of the numbers side of things. We could use it for financial analysis. And again, we'll look at an example in a short while. We'll look at a prompt that you might want to use for the numbers side of advisory. We can also use it for creating strategy. And I think of this in a couple of levels. Firstly, we can use, when we think about strategic thinking, one of the things that we can use is business consulting models. So what do I mean by that? Well, when we think about strategy, and a definition I love is strategy is all the things you could possibly do to get from A to B, where B is where the client wants to get to. What are their goals? What do they want to achieve? What do they want to achieve next year? They might want to, for example, double their revenue next year. They might want to increase their profits by $500,000 next year. What are their goals? And then we need to figure out, where are they right now? What's their point A? And today, where they are right now is all the challenges they're facing, all the frustrations, the pain, the issues in their business. The issues come in their way because of changes in their industry, for example. And these are all the things that are bogging them down, getting in their way, that are stopping them from getting to their point B. So strategy is everything to get from A to B. So we need to make sure we understand, first of all, where do they want to get to? What is their point B? What are their goals? But we also want to understand where are they right now? What are the various issues right now? What are their strengths? What are the various products they have? What are the strategic marketing alliances? What are the opportunities in their business? And so on. Because That's the starting point, understanding that, and then that'll help us. That'll be, if you like, a springboard to come up with ideas or strategies to move them towards their goals. And so that's why we use business consulting models. We use those models to help us come up with a picture, if you like, of what the business currently looks at like. And we'll look at an example in a short while. And then once we've done that, once we've used a business consulting model to understand their business right now, we can then work with the client to come up with strategies, to come up with a strategic plan or a strategic action plan. And there are lots of great prompts that we could run to do exactly that. And then a specific type of strategy that certainly I would always work on when I was working with clients is then growth strategies, because every business owner that I talk to wants to grow their business. Nobody wants to go smaller. They want to grow the business. They want to increase profits, increase sales. And one of the things we can do is help them to do exactly that. But Mark, I'm just an accountant. I'm just a bookkeeper. How do I do that? How do I help people grow? I'm not a marketer. I'm not a sales expert. It doesn't matter, because we now have access to AI that will create the strategies for us and help you be seen as an expert in your business community. And then what we can do with AI is we can then take things to another level entirely, which I call implementation. So normally advisory or coaching, consulting is largely about asking the right questions, being a facilitator, and the client then coming up with a plan because you've opened up their mind through different questions and ideas, and they come up with a plan with your help as a facilitator. And that's really powerful. But we can take things to another level, because we could, if we wanted to, start to help the client to implement. And implement is the highest level of value when we do it for them. And again, AI tools, large language models make this so much easier. So examples of things that we could do at that level. It could be that we, as part of the implementation, we help them to create a business plan. It could be that they want to grow their business, and we come up with a growth action plan, but they don't know how to implement that. They don't know how to create the social media plan, for example. Well, you could do that for them. You could use some carefully crafted prompts, and you could create social media campaigns for them. Because AI makes it so much easier. But if you do implementation for a client, always remember that's the highest level of value. You should charge premium prices for doing that. If you are running their marketing system for them, then you should charge premium prices. And so I'm going to focus on some of those things in this session today. But also another thing that we want to do as well is, if we are delivering advisory services to clients, so all these things so far you could do with your own business, and that's why I'd recommend you start. All the things we'll talk about, you should do yourself, coming up with strategies, strategic thinking, and so on. But if you're going to offer this as a service to clients, then you're going to want to figure out, well, how are you going to package it up? I mentioned earlier, think of it perhaps as a bronze, silver, gold, offer 3 different choices. How might you package it? What would you do as part of advisory? How would you value price that and communicate the value? How would you go out to the marketplace and promote that service? As part of that, to build your positioning, your branding, you would perhaps want to do some content marketing and write, for example, blog posts, ebooks, perhaps do some webinars based on to position you as an expert in helping business owners. And all of those things, packaging, pricing, marketing, content marketing, all of those things, again, AI can really help. I'm not going to talk about that in today's session. We're going to focus on the delivery of it first, but bear that in mind. So let me just quickly recap. We can use our large language models, our ChatGPT, to do research, financial analysis, do business consulting models to identify where they are now, their challenges, their issues. We can then build strategies, strategy building. We can come up with growth strategies. We can help with implementation. And then we can also use it to build our own packages, our pricing and marketing of advisory work. And so we're going to go into, I'm going to show some prompts in a second. The reason I think this is such a huge opportunity for the accounting profession is a couple of reasons. Number one, AI is moving so fast that we are seeing already now, we are seeing that compliance work is being more and more automated. And so we need to figure out ways to create more value for clients more than ever before. We need to help our clients with their biggest problems. And so advisory is one of the highest levels of value that we can create, and we have to do that because we cannot keep relying on compliance work if AI is going to automate much of it. But also, if we understand value pricing and know how to price based on value, then the other thing about advisory work is that it's high value. We can charge higher prices than compliance work, but also with the use of AI, as you'll see, the time to deliver it is relatively low. And so it can be a very profitable service. Whereas in comparison, the value of compliance work is less, and the time taken to do compliance work is much higher. The margins are much, much smaller because it takes time to fill in tax returns. It takes time to do bookkeeping and clean-up work. These are time-consuming processes and relatively low margins compared to, let's say, tax planning or advisory, where we can make bigger differences to the lives of our clients, but do it in less time. So I believe that this is where the profession should be focusing more and more. Right, let's go and look at a few prompts. And I don't know why, but ChatGPT just shut itself down on me. Perhaps I just hit the cross button by mistake. Okay, let's see. We've got that back. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, it's come back. Right, sometimes when I do live demonstrations, obviously ChatGPT sometimes goes slow. It's working relatively okay at the moment. A couple of weeks ago, it was very slow. So we're going to grab a few prompts. We're going to look at, let's look at some research first. Let's imagine that you have just met a brand new client. You've just met a business owner, and you've had some conversations with them. Perhaps you met them at a networking event, and you've had a conversation. They've got some frustrations. Their business is stagnating. It's not growing the way that they'd like it to grow, and you've identified that you can help them. So I'm going to use a case study for this. I'm going to use a real business. I don't know who they are. It's a restaurant. It's a restaurant in the UK. It's a steak restaurant in the evening. They have steak on the stone. It's a cafe by day. They're called Casmix. I think they're in Dunstable in the UK. So I'm going to use that as my case study. So imagine this is a business that you are about to you've just met, and you've been talking about how you can help them get their business back on track, grow their business, and so on. And you've got a meeting with them, your first strategic planning session, let's say tomorrow, and you need to do some research. You need to understand this business better. So we can do some research. So if I go across to here, this is a prompt library, by the way. And those of you that have been using my prompt library already, you may notice it looks a little bit different. That's because this is the new version coming out in just a week or so. And so I'm just doing the final testing of it just to check it works. So let's look at research, and I'm going to go across to this. These are all the various prompts that owners of accounting firms would want to use as part of to speed up their use of AI. And I'm going to look for my business strategy prompts, and specifically I'm looking for business website context report. So I have a prompt here. Here's the prompt. All I need to do at this stage is in my library of prompts. I'm going to copy that to the clipboard. I'm going to go across to ChatGPT, and I'm just going to go into my demonstrations project, and I just paste it in. So there's my prompt. Now I'm going to switch the model from GPT-5 to an older model to 4.0. The only reason for that, if you've used ChatGPT since August, you'll know that GPT-5 is better, but it can be slow sometimes if it does a lot of thinking. And because I'm doing a demonstration, I'm going to go back to the old GPT 4.0 just because it will give me a quicker answer for the purpose of today. So I have my prompt here. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the prompt. Also, when I create these prompts, if you're new to these, I always put variables in. So all of this prompt I could use for every single client, every business I want to, because it's got, if you like, placeholders, but they're variables. So I only have to put in at the end of the prompt, the variable. In this case, it's asking for the website. So let me just grab that website of Casmix, paste that in. Here's the website, here's the prompt, and let me just move that out of the way. So what this is going to do, this first one, is I've asked ChatGPT to act as a business analyst, and what I want to do is I want to analyze every publicly available page on the business website, because I want a report that I can use as my preparation for my strategic planning meeting. And the report's going to give me the contextual foundation for things like business strategy, growth plans, financial advice, strategic recommendations. And then I've given it more specific instructions in the prompt. I want it to use the website and this is the variable, so it knows from below, it will go and pick up here. Website analysis is defined as the URL for the website. So everywhere that appears in this prompt, it knows we're talking about Casmix. So it's going to use that to complete the report. It's going to review every page and summarize what it finds. And it's going to also open up a canvas. So if you don't know what that is, it's one of the tools inside ChatGPT. I love Canvas. It's really powerful. And then what I've done is I've been in this prompt, I've been specific about what I want that structure of the report to be. This is where prompt templates are really powerful. Anything that you might do frequently, creating a report, for example, we can then specify in the prompt the exact structure that we want. I want it to have something about industry and market context, the business models and operations, how do they make money, for example, what are the products and services, what's their pricing model, what's their brand positioning and messaging, what's their marketing and lead generation, and even we could ask what is the website user experience. I've got a few rules, and then we have the variable, which in this case is Casmix. So let's just run that prompt and see what it does. And I'm just going to close the sidebar. So it's pausing for a bit because it's obviously going to read the website, and I've asked it to read every single page of the website. So it's analyzing that, searching the web as it says right now, searching for Casmix, and now it's writing the report. And it's doing it in a separate canvas. You know it's a separate canvas because it will, actually I hope it is. It might not be in this case. Sometimes it doesn't always follow the instructions. It's not. Anyway, here we go. So we have industry and market context. It's telling us a bit about the industry and the sector that Casmix operates in. What are the typical customers they have? They have daytime customers for their breakfast and light lunches and cafes, and then in the evening it's diners looking for more special outings, steaks, cocktails and social dining experience. We've got some information about the market trends and analysis, some information about competition, and so on. We then got in section 2, we have something about the business model and its operations. How does it make revenue? What's its delivery model? How does it deliver its services? Well, it's a physical location. It's a restaurant in this case with eat-in and takeaway. We've got who its dependencies, who its partners, like suppliers for steaks, and so on. Then we've got section 3, which is what do they sell? What's the products, the services? We've got a cafe menu by daytime, and so on. What's its USPs? What's its pricing structure? We've got brand positioning and messaging, and we also have some marketing, and then what's the website like? So that took seconds to do. That took seconds, and if you've got a prompt in your prompt library, it takes 30 seconds to grab a prompt, put it in there, copy and paste the URL to the website, run that prompt. Within 2 minutes, you have a really powerful report, which is a complete summary of that business, which is going to give you huge amounts of information ready for your first strategic planning session. Without tools like this, without those sorts of prompts, I guess you could spend easily 2 or 3 hours doing research into a business, at least an hour, and we've cut that down to just a few minutes and the time it takes to read it. So that's for doing research. So let's move on to a different type of activity we might do. So we might do financial analysis. What might we do as part of financial analysis? Well, we could, of course, analyse its past financial statements and look for trends and so on. That's one thing we could do. We could also start to look at what might be the most useful ratios. And another one that you may want to do if you're working with another client is identify what are the key predictive indicators, the KPIs, really important measures that a lot of small businesses don't measure. So you might want to have as part of your strategic planning session with the client, you might want to have a conversation about what are they measuring, and what else could they possibly measure. And then what you might do as part of your advisory service going forward is you then might want to offer to help them create the measures, to even perhaps pull together the measures every month and create a report, for example, showing the trends in those KPIs. So let's do exactly that. I'm going to go back to my library of prompts, and I'm going to look for one called KPI Creator. I can see it here, and I'm just going to grab that to the clipboard. I'm going to go back to ChatGPT and paste that in here. So let me move out of the way. So here is our KPI Creator. Again, it's a long prompt, and that's because, as we know from prompt engineering, using these models, the more specific your prompts are, the more specificity, the more clarity in your prompts, the better the outputs you'll get, the more predictable they'll get. So anything that you want to do frequently, like a particular report for a client, like the report I've just shown you, if you want to report on financial statements, anything you want to do frequently, then I think of these as little mini systems that are going to save you huge amounts of time going forward. So this one creates KPIs. And if I just scroll to the end, you'll see there's lots of variables here, placeholders if you like, that we could fill in the gaps here, but it's much better just to go straight to the end. It saves us time, and it's asking for 3 variables. What is the client's name, what's the website, and what's the industry they are in? So I just need to answer those 3, and then I can run the prompt. So it's Casmic's Restaurant, and they're a UK restaurant, and there's the website. And I always put variables in the prompts like that because it saves so much time. Now, in this particular case, you might say, well, do you need to put that in because we're continuing the same chat? And as you know, with tools like ChatGPT, within a chat, it will remember details from the previous one. So it already knows we're talking about Casmix. It's already done a plan for Casmix. It's analysed the website. But the reason I put these variables in is because it enables you to use each of these prompts standalone. I could start a brand new chat and run this prompt, and that's why I'm putting these in. Hope that makes sense. Okay, let's actually I'm going to run this one quickly, and then while it's running, I'll just walk you through just a few of the things in this prompt. So I'm changing the role in this case because one of the things we know from prompt engineering is that we get better results if we give ChatGPT a specific role to play. And so now I want it to play the role of a performance analyst. And what I want it to do is, the task is to analyze the industry and identify the most appropriate KPIs. So more specifically, identify the key KPIs relevant to the business and then create a table. And I've been very specific with this example built into it because I want the table in a very specific format. Again, because when we specify this, when we give examples, for example, when we give examples, we will get a predictable outcome. We'll get exactly the table and the information that we need. So this example here is telling it exactly what we want it to look like. So it's quite long. The example is quite long because I'm being very specific. And then we have our variables. So interestingly, ChatGPT is still thinking about this one. I have no idea why. Sometimes it does go a little bit slow. So let's just go back and let's see if I've missed anything. Let me explain a couple of things here. So I've got action steps, and then yes. So I want a table of my KPIs. and then I want to have a detailed description of each one, and then I've got some more broad instructions. So replace the variables in the curly brackets. This is instructions now for ChatGPT. I wanted to fill out the KPI table and expand the detailed descriptions. Okay, I don't know why it's going slow. I'm going to sometimes hitting the edit message and then sending it again. Sometimes works. If it doesn't, we'll come back to it in a bit. Or I might just change the model. So this is the problem with live demonstrations. Here we go. It's woken up. Okay, that's good. So here we go. It's now producing for this restaurant. It's coming up with some possible KPIs that we could measure. And you can see it's a really, really good report. There's our table. Then we've got more detailed descriptions, which includes what it measures,